Time now for the Politics Wrap, the Monday edition. Natasha Piri is standing by. Natasha, very good evening to you. A busy week that was, and another one that's to follow.
Definitely important. Good evening to our SABC viewers. Now, we recently caught up with the MK Party's head of presidency, Makasela Mzobe, and spoke to him over a wide range of issues, including the fresh case that will be launched against the IEC on allegations of vote rigging, the party's by-election victories, and the work of the party in setting up structures. Now, let's listen into some of what Mzobe had to say.
Will you be launching a fresh case against the IEC? Remember, you've maintained that the elections were rigged, but yet you sent a notice withdrawing your case. The IEC, on the other hand, is saying, listen, and it's asking the electoral court to refuse to accept your withdrawal as you've made serious allegations around the credibility of the IEC.
I don't know why IEC would want to be that enthusiastic and demand that the case must continue, despite a case having been made that there is a new evidence that need technical exploration about what is that is contained there. And we've said the experts are dealing with that, the lawyers are meeting to deal with that. And that is why we have said to the court, we are not withdrawing it permanently. We are withdrawing it so that this new fresh information can be harnessed into a solid case and it will be brought back for the articulation before the court of law. And the court will have to decide if we've got credible evidence or not.
When are we likely to see your lawyers, file a case?
Look, as President Zuma has advised that we give them enough space to exhaust all they were to do. All we can do is to give them support, and we are focusing on the organization. The lawyers, once they are done, obviously within a reasonable time frame that the court will allow, and I'm sure they will have to submit and file the papers.
In the recent by-elections in KZN, the MK Party won an award from the ANC in the Ray Nkonyeni Road. Yes.
Look, we are excited. We are excited precisely because we have not even put structures in KZN. There's no provincial structure. There are no regional structure since now. In some instances, you don't even have branch leadership. It's just community activists mobilizing themselves from all political parties and saying, can MK leadership allow us to contest in this one? That's what has been happening. There is not a national leadership directing them, let's contest. These guys meet among themselves. That is why when we get one word to us is one step forward, and it's affirmation that communities outside President Zuma now, in their own, they are starting to identify leaders of MK in their communities, because we don't take it for granted that to be elected a councillor when the organization is not even 10 months old. It's really a vote of confidence on the work we are trying to do. And where we lost, we can tell you, we can look at the result. And those who are listening, the communities have said, don't do what other political parties are doing. Come here with your decisions of your meeting to tell us who must represent us here in this community. Where we lost, we know we were there. They told us that guys who vote for MK any day, but consult with us on who must represent MK in these communities. And we have listened to that. That's why in the next by-elections, we have seen that the ANC is a bit suffering there. They celebrate one by-election out of 10 that were there. And we celebrate one because we didn't have any councillor in the first place. Any addition, victory, we celebrate it because it's the first time we get those councillors.
But how is that work of building the structures on the ground? Because you just mentioned right now that these are community activists that are actually working for the MK. How's that work going?
It's going very well. It's going very, very well. I can tell you that it's other the media, obviously, because of their names. It will focus on the big names that are joining national. And from what I'm hearing, and a lot more bigger names are to join in Mkondo Sizwe during before the end of this year. And but in communities, many community activists are joining. And we felt that let's not rush in building branches to rush for a conference, because we need, when we select those branches, it must be community activists, not people whose only activism is based on MK, because that's what we're trying to solve. That the public power cannot be vested only on traditional politicians. When we go to a community and we are told that there is a former football player who is well respected in the community and is marshalling the youth to play sport, young girls, young boys, those are guys we're going to get into MK to lead. Not people whose only thing they do is politics and learn how to maneuver and plot against each other. President Zuma is totally against that. That's why I said no conference till we know who have we attracted into MK and who can lead, so that we don't have career politicians who want to act as community activists for purposes of getting into position in municipalities and start stealing. That's why we're not rushing, but community activists will be the one that will play a more prominent role in leading MK structures.
You spoke about young people, and you look at the SRC elections, it seems as if the MK party is actually gaining momentum amongst some universities. What is it about the message of MK that attracts young people to it?
Look, the message is quite clear. I can tell you that black people in 30 years have realized that we need to come together. Obviously, it will be difficult because politicians are used to leading their own organization. So it's not an easy, sellable idea to older generation that they collapse your organization, that's right. But the young ones are easy to catch up because you must remember that they've got brothers and sisters who have had the same degrees that they are trying to get and are unemployed. And those who are employed, they know exactly how the race issue plays itself in the private sector. So that is why the message, we're not talking about the message of organic intellectuals coming into the fold, young people, but the requirement is very clear. You must have unconditional love for black people. And you must have unconditional hatred for whiteness. Now, black youth is clear because they've seen how their parents, their grandparents, nothing has changed in 30 years. And they must be told about Rainbow Nation. So these measures find them quite, and the attraction is that they come in there, they are much more experienced people like President Zuma, who will then transmit the knowledge and the creation of intergenerational experiences. We're very happy. We saw that TUT social move. I think we got a president there of the SRC. And these guys, let's be honest, I mean, they're probably 2 months into campuses. The organization did not exist. You can imagine what will happen next year when we've got fully fledged leadership of the youth and students, and there's a clear program of action. For now, it's just young people, as I said, even communities and councillors. That's why we want them. They're coming together. They say, guys, we have heard this message. We have listened to other political parties. Please come and guide us toward the liberation of black people in South Africa.
Briefly, my last question, are there any plans to poach or to invite other political parties perhaps to the Progressive Caucus?
Look, so the requirement is simple. If you believe that black people are capable of running South Africa, you're welcome. And we'll not sit down, obviously, and pray that people come. Where we think there's an opportunity to talk to people to join, where there's an opportunity for other political parties that we have seen to close down, and we become one political party under the banner of MK party. We will do that. And we're getting calls, fortunately, we don't have to make calls. We're getting calls to ask, hey, what do you think of this? Do you think I can join? That is entirely up to you. All we can do is to tell you what MK party represent and what we see in the future. And as I said, I expect quite a few of other well-known public activists, community activists, political leaders to join from all political parties.
Makasela Mzobe, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Natasha, and we appreciate the time you're giving to us.
Thank you.
Now moving on to this story, former President Thabo Mbeki urged leaders of the ANC in Gauteng to focus on strengthening the organization and improving service delivery to regain the confidence of the people. Mbeki made these remarks at a 2-day ANC Gauteng renewal workshop, which took place this past weekend. He said that the auditing of ANC and improving the caliber of its membership, including the possibility of existing members having to reapply for membership, is crucial for the party's renewal process. To speak to us more on this issue, we're joined by Professor John Molepo from the University. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for joining us on the Politics Wrap this evening. I suppose you heard that interview there with the MK's head of presidency, Makasela Mzobe, and I just want to ask, do you think, in your own opinion, the MK party will sustain some level of success as they've been showing signs of progress post the polls, the by-election victories that we've been seeing, and the strides that have also been made, in some universities, particularly TUT, winning those 10 seats?
No, thanks, Natasha. What I can say, which is very important, is that the South African generally, they love new things. And MK is a new party, which is there in this, that we have seen in South Africa. But what is interesting is how they've managed to lure young people to join them. And I think they are getting members from the disgruntled ANC, and then also from the EFF and other political parties. So I think their performance is attributed to that, and people will still join the MK party because of maybe others are following the persona of Jacob Zuma and the likes. And you can see even how they've recruited recently. It tells you that the MK really might work very well. But what is interesting is how they won this particular by-election and also the SRC at TUT, Soshanguve campus. So it tells you that now the MK without structures, they're able to do this thing. So, but the danger of not having structure is that these people will do willingly, people will just do whatever they want to do. So it's important for the MK to develop some structures and come up with a plan on ensuring how they can grow their organization, because of any party which is not well coordinated, it bound to fail. So if they still want to get more members, they still want to see supporters, it's important for them to be coordinated, to have a support structure. Not this thing of today, a person is being, expelled in the organization without any following due processes. So it's important for them to have those particular structures. And I think once they have those particular structures, we're likely to see the organization being governed in a structured way and in a professional way.
I want us to focus on the ANC, the Gauteng Renewal Workshop, where the former President Thabo Mbeki mentioned that they need two interventions. Two things need to happen to actually regain the confidence of the electorate. One is to strengthen the ANC through renewal, which includes looking at the caliber of the people that are within the ANC. And number two is to deliver on the promises made, essentially talking about service delivery. Do you think that he was correct in his analysis?
Well, I don't think the president was wrong at all, and this call has been made even by Kgalema Motlanthe and many other senior ANC cadres about the renewal and also the caliber of people they attract. If you were to check in the ANC currently, people might have joined the ANC because of proximity to power or proximity to resources. That can be attributed in many municipalities where the ANC has lost the municipalities. People who joined because of they wanted to gain something, they have left the ANC. So it tells you that these people joined the organization because of purely material or proximity to power, but also the caliber of people that you need. You still have a branch secretary who doesn't even know the constitution of the ANC, or the branch chairperson who doesn't even read. So I think it's important for the type of leaders or the caliber of leaders that are needed in the branches of the ANC. I will tell you something again, Natasha. You have the community. The community becomes I'm saying members of the ANC become a learned community. People went to school, people studied, people read. And therefore, you need also to get some a caliber of leadership that can also resonate with those who are well vested with some knowledge. So it's important that the caliber of leaders that you have in the ANC are those with high moral standing in the society. Not a person, you grew up knowing a person that this person has been a thug, this person has been a thief, now becomes a leader of a branch. So I think it's important for the ANC to renew itself. And in terms of the service delivery, I'm telling you, Natasha, that ANC I'll be wrong to say that ANC has never done anything. ANC have been doing a lot of things, but the problem is to what extent can we say that the ANC should do these things? And also, their service delivery, they've been promising things to the society, but they are failing to deliver. As much as the project come, they want to deliver. The problem is the same cadres of the ANC are the ones who become problematic because they tend to behave in a corrupt manner. They do corrupt activities which lead for them not delivering in their promises. And I think it's high time that the ANC deployed cadres should really work for the ANC, because they are the implementers of the policies of their organization. If they are working seriously in government or any structures, I think that will also keep some hope to the people of South Africa.
Okay. Professor Molepa, you mentioned the issue of service delivery. I want you to put on your other hat. You're also the Executive Director of the South African Association of Public Administration and Management. We know that the annual conference of SAPAM is coming up. And just for context, for our viewers who don't know what SAPAM is and what the mission is to encourage and promote good governance, effective service delivery through the advancement of professionalism, scholarship and practice in public administration and management. And of course, this year's program, you've seen several speakers. The former President Thabo Mbeki will be there, various premiers across the country's 9 provinces, MECs, ministers, deputy ministers, and DGs will be there. What is the theme of this conference? And for those who haven't heard of SAPAM, why is it important that such conferences are actually held?
Well, thank you, Natasha, once more. The theme for this is a conference, 23rd annual conference, is Post-Apartheid South Africa at 30, making sense of the past, understanding the present, and charting the future of the administration of the state. So basically in this particular conference, we have the senior government officials, students, academics to come to understand the epistemological praxis, to come and reflect about the administration of the state, whether with GNU, whether ethics, whether professionalization. This is where the academics and practitioners meet to come and consolidate, to reflect on the future of South Africa.
And also just looking at public administration, is the public administration service performing to what South Africans can actually expect?
Well, the South Africans generally, especially the department, are doing very well, but the question should be to what extent, like I said. So I think what is critical is the policies which are there, and the only thing that is needed is for them to implement. Look, now we're speaking about professionalization of the public sector. So it's important that we professionalize all these particular departments or public service. So what we are chatting for is that we are looking for our employees or our departmental officials to really basically to deal with the question of professionalization of the public service. And there are many things that other departments are doing, and the others are not doing very well. So it's important to reflect and assist and come up with ways in which they can optimize the public good.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Professor John Molepa from the Northwest University. Mpho, this is as far as I go tonight. I will leave our viewers in your capable hands.
Thank you very much, Natasha Piri. Wrapping up the politics wrap. Of course, more to come on Friday evening.